whenever.
Could we?
You could do it now, or you could do it later.
I think we'll, I don't know. I think we'll just do it later.
Okay.
Well, fuck it, guys. We are here on How Do You Take Your Wrestling. My first guest is a good friend of mine, obviously. Sometimes people know that. Sometimes they don't. Because a lot of the times we're beating the shit out of each other. Ladies and gentlemen, Bailey Blake.
We beat the shit out of each other more than best friends probably should.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I feel bad for the one time, like, well, not the one of many, where, like, you fucking had to go to the hospital.
Dude, that fucking pile driver on the fucking steel, like, rain catcher fucking bullshit.
Yeah. That tub's still here, and it haunts this place. That's what the T in TWE stands for. It's Tub Wrestling Entertainment, or Tub Wrestling Extreme.
Extreme for sure.
Yeah. So, I guess we should, like, get into the actual questions of this, or some of them. So, today, we're going to be trying a coffee. It's called Midnight Bold. It is the dark roast blend from Joe Muggs Cafe, a.k.a. Books A Million, because, yes, you can't have a bookstore without a cafe. It's very rare if they, don't have one.
That's
Have
right.
you ever been to one that doesn't have a cafe?
What's it called? The used bookstore?
Oh, McKay's?
Yeah, do they have one?
No, but they have, like...
That's not really a bookstore.
I
That's
like
used items.
It's used items, but I guess like it could be a bookstore. Technically, maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. They have a lot of locations though, so maybe like at other locations they have one. Fucking I don't know, but so this Midnight Bold Dark Roast from Joe Muggs. Its origin is from Brazil and Mexico, so I'm pretty pumped to try this. I've had a lot of Joe Muggs coffee before. Obviously, because of how close it is to my house and my love for coffee. But today we're going to try that. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, how do you take your
Coffee.
coffee?
Oh.
Oh.
Man. I don't drink coffee very often.
Oh.
So I'm like the worst first guest you could have picked.
Oh.
I think the last time I had like a cup of coffee was like 2 months ago.
Oh. Well, how'd you take your coffee then?
Like half a cup of coffee.
Okay, half a cup.
Half a cup of creamer.
Gotcha.
And then like as much sugar as I feel like I need that day.
Well, I am very happy to tell you that right in front of you we have some milk, we have some Smucker's caramel flavored topping, we have some Domino's sugar, and we got your cream right here, buddy.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, so you just dip, whatever into it.
Your wife asked me if I'd ever put this caramel stuff in my coffee before.
What'd you tell her?
And like an idiot, I said yes.
Oh,
But I have not.
so you're a fucking liar.
I'm a fucking liar.
And
But
then,
I'm going to do it right now.
while he's getting his coffee ready, I am going to sit here and enjoy mine because I am one of the many, or maybe one of the few, that drinks mine black. So I'm just gonna enjoy it. It maybe it's disgusting to you, but fucking it's good to me. Okay.
How do you open this? Okay, I got it.
All right. He puts the lotion on the skin.
Put the creamer in the coffee.
Yeah. David Starr, motherfucker.
Put some of this milk in here. Oh,
Yeah.
the cream to your coffee.
And like all the other 80 billion nicknames he has.
I know how you are about your milk, so I'm not going to put that much in there.
Thanks. So if y'all don't know, which y'all probably don't, I am a fucking milk addict, and I'm very territorial about my milk. A friend of ours stayed at my house, and I walked in the kitchen as I went to go get cookout one day, and I caught them fucking not eating. You don't eat milk.
That'd be weird.
That would be weird.
Some
But
chunky ass milk.
yeah. But they were drinking my milk, and I remember getting so pissed off about it. So Bailey just poured the whole fucking tub of sugar into his coffee.
Half a cup, man. It had a measuring cup in there.
Oh, add a measuring cup in
Yeah.
there. Jesus, what's that thing go up to?
Half a cup.
Oh. So he's stirring the shit. I don't know if you can hear it or not.
Get some ASMR action.
Yeah. That's how a real man stirs. Hell yeah.
All right.
I'm just gonna make y'all feel uncomfortable and listen to this.
We'll probably edit this.
All right, and then whenever you're ready, you just give that bad boy a try.
Oh, I'm going to. It's still kind of clumpy, but
No.
okay.
It's like that fucking edible milk.
Look at that shit. What is it? I don't know.
3, 2, 1, down the hatch. Awesome. So during that time, I didn't take a sip of mine. I waited until he took his.
Same
So,
time.
Yeah, same time it was. So, all right, with it. What do you think, man? How's it? Like, how's the smell with it? How's the texture? Sweetness? Is it more sweet? Is it more bitter?
It tastes kind of bitter, but I also put like a shit ton of sugar in it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of real sweet too. I probably should have tried it black first. But it smells real good.
It does smell good from over here. It's
The
a shame.
texture's kind of weird because I fucked up and put a little bit too much creamer in it. But
It looks like you have like whipped cream that's not whipped cream. So I guess it's just whipped.
it's real clumpy.
Yeah, clumpy.
It's good though. It's real good.
That sounds like the idea I had for opening up a cafe called Clumpy's Coffee.
God,
Where all the coffee's clumpy.
I love it.
I mean, I think it's cool. Like, so what you do is you brew half of it, but you don't brew the other half, so you give them a little surprise when they bite into a coffee bean.
They never come back.
Yeah, I'm out of business.
It's a one-day business.
Yeah, well, it was worth a shot. That was your bad idea of the day. So, all right, how would you rate it? Would you rate it good to extremely good? Would you rate it fair, poor, or would you not recommend?
Dude, I'm gonna go good to extremely good.
Oh man, fucking A. I'll have to like dub in an ECW chant in this later.
Yeah.
that's why I wanted to put extremely good in here, so that way whenever someone says extremely good, we just dub in an ECW chant.
Man of ideas.
Yeah, for real. So I guess we'll get into some more of these questions. How have you been spending your time during quarantine? Because I've only seen you once during this. I just showed up at your house like I always do.
That's all. That's all you ever do. You come into my house, you go straight for my pantry, and you see if I have any cookies.
If you don't have cookies, I fucking leave.
He leaves immediately.
No, it's not always cookies. It's Little Debbie's. I love Little Debbie's.
I do have some Little Debbie's right now, so
Do
you'd be
you?
real pumped.
What kind of Little Debbie's you got right now?
They're like the brownies, but
The Cosmic Brownies?
not cosmic brownies.
Oh, they got nuts in them?
No, they're like kind of like the zebra cakes, but brownie.
Fuck.
I don't know, man. They're real good. I forget what they're called. I wish I could tell you like the name.
Jeez. Is it like the Little Debbie brand?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay. It's probably like the weird Mother's Day brownies or something.
It might be something like that.
I don't know. I like I'm a sucker for like the frosting brownies. Those are really good. They're extremely good to have with your coffee, and I'm not saying that because this podcast is also about coffee. Like I love that shit. I'm a brownie whore.
Well,
I don't know if
you know what to do. Pack it up. Let's go.
Well, that's today's podcast. I am gonna have to fucking swing by your house and steal some. Some assholes honking in the parking lot. We're recording here, dick.
Shut it up.
All right, back to it.
Mostly just been playing video games, man.
Is there like any like specific ones you've been playing?
Mainly when it's just me, I play like MLB The Show 20,
Oh,
Diamond Dynasty, try to get some cards,
gotcha.
get my ass kicked online. That's all I do.
Yeah.
And then when some friends want to play, I've gotten really into Fortnite lately.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I'm
weird.
fucking good too.
You're good at Fortnite.
I'm good.
I remember you were telling me the other day you've been playing with some people that we know, and you were telling me that I'd be fine at it. But if y'all don't know, I'm very bad at video games. Like, I'm very good at wrestling video games because wrestling video games, right? Like, that's what got me into, like, wrestling. But if it's anything else, nah, man, I suck. I'm very bad.
I remember one time me and Jaden played the Friday the 13th video game.
Oh, that game rules. I
And
suck at it, though.
man, did he not know what to do.
Well, the worst part was whenever I was Jason, no one explained to me how the fuck to
Oh,
be
yeah.
Jason. So, like, everyone, like, instead of the campers running from you like they should be, they were beating the shit out of me. I was getting
They
pissed,
schooled
man.
him.
Yeah, dude, they beat my ass. They fucking drowned me. It was insane. What was another time? There was another time I was a camper, and instead of, like, trying to beat up Jason, what I was doing was I was fucking like beating up the other campers and like sacrificing them to Jason.
Yeah.
And then like one day they all just fucking quartered me and they just fucking like were like, go eat shit, and I died.
They took that out now. You can't kill the other campers now.
Can you not?
No.
That's lame.
But man,
That shit was fun.
those were the good times.
They were.
That shit was funny.
We were like in Georgia every other fucking weekend.
Every other weekend. And we used to play GTA 5 all the time.
Yeah.
We would just run up and where you can like make them ragdoll at people. Just shoulder block the shit out of people.
That shit was so funny. We just pounce people all the time. Money! Bam! Bam! Fucking insane. Awesome. So like MLB The Show. I'm trying to think. You've been playing like any 2K?
I played 2K20 for the first time since like the first few weeks that I had it. Because I was like, maybe they made it better. Maybe they fixed it. They didn't.
They didn't.
They didn't. It's still terrible. It crashes every 10 seconds. So
Dang.
I've gone back to playing 2K19 when I do want to play.
2K19 is really good, man.
It is really good.
Did you see where they announced the new video game they're doing called WWE Battlegrounds?
I did.
Dude, it looks good.
It looks all right. I wish they would have gone for more like the All-Stars
Yeah.
thing, but I mean, I'll buy it when it comes out. I know I will.
I was pumped as fuck. Like you see The Rock in the opening shot with John Cena, and they just throw John Cena into a calculator.
Right into the alligator, man.
I also found out they're doing like one of the features they're gonna have for matches is gonna be like an electronic steel cage.
Yeah, I saw that
Or
too.
electric steel cage is gonna be fucking insane.
Oh no, I think that game it'll definitely have its like pros. It'll be fun.
It'll be good just to hear people talking good about another wrestling game again.
And then you've got that whatever virtual basement is
Yeah.
working on.
The virtual basement one's gonna be good.
It's got a lot of our friends and stuff.
Yeah, dude. Shout out O'Shea Edwards.
Yeah.
Gymnasty Boys. Who else?
Danny J.
Yeah, Danny. Yeah, fuck yeah, Danny J is in there. I forgot. Shaheem Ali. Fuck, there's so many people in there. It's awesome too. All those guys deserve it. Fucking. Dude, I saw today. I was watching a video from Smack Talks. I don't know if you've
Yep.
ever watched them on
Yep.
YouTube. They're fucking great. Apparently, they're not them in general, but like a company is in the process of putting together a deathmatch wrestling game.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, dude, I was blown away by it. Because, like, I don't know if it's going to be VR, but they had shown some VR, like, footage from it. And they kind of recreated the, who was it? Was it Janela and Zandig? No, it was Janela and someone, where Janela goes through the light tube.
It was Zandig.
It was Zandig?
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, like, the Janela Zandig gimmick, yeah, they, like, recreated that shit.
Is it kind of like the backyard wrestling game?
Kind of.
More like pro wrestling.
It's more pro wrestling.
Okay, cool.
But like it's got so much deathmatch stuff implemented. Like you can use like window panes, light tubes, barbed wire, and yeah, like and apparently like the creative engine on there to where like you can like create stuff is like so insane. Like you can create your own type of matches, obviously your own wrestlers. And it was cool, man. I was like super pumped, and it made me start thinking like that would be something awesome if like GCW could get involved with it. Because like,
that'd be
can you
real cool.
imagine if like you could get like Nick Gage in that game and
Oh
stuff?
man, I would never leave my house again.
He would be the fucking like if there was a boss level on that shit, he would be the fucking. Boss
He would be the
level.
final boss.
Yeah, either like or it'd be like him and Tremont at the same time.
Man, oh no, that reminds me though. Speaking of Nick Gage, I don't know what we were talking about, but for some reason you sent me like a promo as Nick Gage, and it sounded just like him. Oh man, that shit was hilarious.
Oh, the fucking we were talking about how I wanted a dream match of Robbie E, better now known as Robert Strauss, versus Nick Gage.
Oh man, that's
before
it.
he
Yeah,
left.
that's it. Oh,
And I
man.
just like I literally just like got my fingers going, and I was like, I've been around Nick Gage a few times. How can I like make this promo? And I was like, oh well, and I just started typing it. I think I've never like I said pussy and fuck so many times.
Well, it sounded just like something he would say, man.
It did. Well, like it started making me think of that promo we cut on Matt Riddle.
Yeah, that's exactly the one I thought of.
Turn that fucking shit off, bro.
Fucking shit off, bro.
I don't give a fuck about your resume. It's fucking awesome. I love that shit. So, fuck. Where do we go from here? I'll tell you where we go from here. We go into another question.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, you've been wrestling now for like what, 4 years? Officially, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I tried counting it earlier. I was trying to think to myself.
2016, so 2020. I think I debuted in like June of 2016, so we're about at 4 years now.
I thought it was 2015 because like 2015 is whenever we were still doing like the Dunlap shows.
Oh yeah, you might be right then. It might be
So-
going on 5 years.
Yeah, brother, I'm making you a veteran.
God dang, grizzled
So-
young vet.
That's it, dude. That's how I feel all the time. So yeah, you've been wrestling for almost 4 to 5 years, and but you were pretty much training like as long as I've been training, because at the time, whenever I was with my original trainer in Ringgold, Georgia, on the weekend we were doing essentially like these open rings in my backyard because I had a ring. So like on Thursdays, was it Wednesdays or Thursdays? I think it was Wednesdays. No, yeah, it was Wednesdays.
I think it was Wednesdays. I remember that for some reason. That
Yeah.
sounds familiar.
So like on Wednesdays I would train, and then on Sundays would be like our like open ring, I guess, in the backyard. And like pretty much anything that like I fucking would learn, I would teach you, which was only like bumps and DDTs. or
Dude, I
something.
remember the DDTs for sure.
Like I heard you tell that story on the fucking Not Another Wrestling podcast, and I just started cracking up. I hope the fucking microphone didn't catch me burping, but if they did, oh well, we'll keep it in. But yeah, I was sitting there, I was like, fuck, man. I was like, I really did just like, that was all. That was like the move. That was the finish, man. That was
That
the
was
ultimate
it.
finish. But yeah, was there like anything that like you remember from like early like training on, and like anything from like our backyard that like you kind of remembered that like you want to talk about?
So I feel like this just goes in to what we've done for the rest of our career. I think the first time we wrestled in the backyard, it was either an I Quit match or it was a street fight,
Yeah.
and we had like little baking sheets that like crumpled really easily.
Oh yeah.
We would. It was at Grandbut's house, and I remember you like threw me into like some of the fencing on the side of the house, and we broke it. And I think we stopped mid-match, and we were both like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, we just kept
we
going.
just kept going after that.
The most annoying thing about that match was everybody for some reason was getting involved in it. And I was sitting there like, yeah, we've talked about this before,
Yeah.
but man, I remember you telling me how much it pissed you off. And
Oh,
it was
man.
so funny.
Because it was just like other people that were in the backyard with us. So they would just come in and like start doing random shit to us while we were trying to do our match. That I don't think we had anything called really.
No.
Maybe a finish.
I don't
Probably
know
not
if we
even
had
that.
a finish.
But we were just like doing our stuff, and they'd come in and randomly like hit me or hit you. Even the ref, I think, did it a few times.
Fucking A, yeah. Who was, what was your finish in the backyard? I'm trying to remember.
I think it was Stunner.
Was it the yeah, it was like the Star Stunner or something
Yeah,
like that.
Star Stunner, Bailey Star.
Yeah, fucking yeah. And then I was Jaden the Numinator Newman. My finish was the Rock Bottom, but I
Man.
called it the Jaden's Judgment
Jaden's Judgment.
because Adam Chancey, he
Man.
he like sent me that name one day, and he was like, because Adam Chancey, he's a buddy of mine from high school. Bailey knows him too, because he went to school with him, what, middle school?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so like we had known him from like middle school, and he had pretty much like he came over like the first time I got my ring set up in my backyard, and because he wanted to wrestle so bad, and his favorite wrestler was John Cena, which is really weird if you know Adam Chancey.
Yeah.
So he was going by Adam the Champ Chancey, and like he came out, and I gave him a rock bottom, and that was it.
That's the finish.
That was like I don't think he ever came back again, but. Yeah, I still keep in contact with Adam every once in a while.
Man. What was that? I know we recorded something. I think the footage is all gone, but we didn't even do it in the ring. We did it on your broken trampoline.
Yeah, it was
one time.
before the ring was set up. That was like what kind of like I guess set the angle for us.
Yeah. Because I came out and I cut a terrible promo, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Where I said just random stuff that like didn't make any sense, where I was like running down Hulk Hogan and like Ric Flair and Sting and stuff.
Yeah.
And when
You
I
know,
said
as you
Sting's
do.
name, yeah, as you do in the backyard, I said Sting's name, and you had enough. Man, you came out, you said something like, how dare you run down the legends of this business.
Fucking A, I did. Fuck, I totally forgot that. Yeah, I was like, fucking whatever. How dare you run down the legends of this business? Like, the good graces of Sting. Aloe Vera be thy name. Whatever the fuck I said. And then, like, Lou Cucaracha, let's get it on. Fucking-
Oh, man, I forgot about Lou Cucaracha. Let's get it on.
I'll still say it if I ever feel like it. Like, I'll remind myself of it, and I'll be like, I have to say that. And then I'll say it. Fucking A. But yeah, we did that. And like I don't remember if it was like you or I, or even if it was us, but I feel like so many people had probably fallen through that trampoline. I don't remember.
Man, I don't know if I ever did, but I remember you telling me stories about
Yeah.
people falling through it.
Yeah, dude. Andrew Sanders. That was who. He was another buddy of mine. He was one of my longtime elementary school friends.
Have a blessed day, buddy.
Yeah.
Man.
Wild. So, like, cool. So, like, we did backyard wrestling, and pretty much I was trying to teach what, like, I was learning, which I honestly shouldn't have been trying to teach at that point, but I wanted to share, like, my knowledge with my friends.
Right.
So, or at least anyone that wanted to, you know wrestling. So, before the backyard stuff, we had met in middle school. We both went to Saudi Daisy Middle School, and you were watching TNA, I was watching TNA.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know, like, how you, like, I don't remember, like, how, it's weird. Like, I remember how we became friends, but, like, I don't. Because I don't know how you caught wind of me.
My brother.
Oh, Channon?
Yeah. He used to talk about you sometimes, and I was like, oh, he's a wrestling fan, because he had mentioned that to me.
Yeah.
So I remember, I think the first time I did this was in the middle of a school day. I saw you walking down the hall, and I was like, hey, man, screw it. I think we were on, like, a water break or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I saw you, and I was like, hey, man, did you watch TNA last night? How about Jeff Hardy?
Yeah, yes, that's what it was. We were in the main hallway right there, so, yeah. Because if you came in the front doors and you look to your right, there was the main hallway that would then lead to the 6th grade area and the 7th and then the 8th grade area. The 8th grade was in the upper annex.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember, like, you asked me, I was like, yeah, man. And I was so confused.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Like, I was in 7th grade and you were just coming into 6th grade.
Yep.
And, like, obviously, like, it wasn't one of those things where I was like, fuck this little 6th grader. I was just, like, so confused. I was like, that's awesome someone else watches TNA. But what the fuck was that? And,
why would he do this?
Yeah. I was like, I mean, fucking, hey, what a way to introduce yourself. And then around that time, too, NWA Chattanooga started coming to the school. And that was, like, you know, featured a lot of guys like, who was it?
The Collins.
The Collins brothers, Tank, Sean Tempers, Andrew Alexander.
Yeah. Corey Hollis was there.
Yeah, Corey Hollis, Jackson Riker, better now known as that, but he was at that time.
Phil Shatter.
Yeah, Phil Shatter, a.k.a. TNA Gunner.
TNA Gunner.
That always popped me every time I saw it on a flyer. Fucking just TNA Gunner.
I remember something about that. The first time Phil was there, I remember we talked, like, after that show.
Yeah.
And you came up to me and you were like, hey, man, you got to keep this a secret. But that guy's actually Gunner on TNA. And I was like, oh, God. This dude wasn't supposed to tell me that. And I remember Googling it. And sure shit, there it was. The guy was Gunner.
That's wild. Holy shit. I totally forgot about that. God bless. That was probably like one of those things like I found out at the flea market, because whenever I was younger, I would just go to the flea market every weekend. And I would see guys like Lewis, and I would hang out in the other flea market where I met Roger.
Yeah.
Because that was really where I got like into like the wrestling, like rumors and innuendo and all that fun stuff, like, and all the facts. It's like you hear all the time in wrestling, you learn in the bars and the cars. I learned so much in the flea markets, dude. So, like, I would, like, go there on the weekends, and I'd go to school, and I'd be like, Hulk Hogan did 9/11. You know, just, like, like whatever I fucking heard. It was like,
he did.
I fucking hate the like dropped that son of a bitch. But, like, yeah. So, like, that's funny. I forgot about that.
And I remember those NWA shows, they used to do, like, one match before the school day ended.
It was, like, the pep rally deals?
Yeah, the pep rallies. And, man, oh man. I remember one time Tank was there and the Collins brothers were there. And I went right the fuck up to Brandon Collins after the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was just talking shit. I was like, how many times have you been a champion? And he said like 6 times. And I was like, oh yeah, you been a tag champion? And he was like, yeah, with my brother. And I was like, I bet he carried you. And I felt like such top shit after that. I was like, I just trashed out.
Dude. Because I think it was at that point you were coming over and doing stuff on the trampoline.
Yeah, I think so.
So it was like fucking... Bailey Star, you were on your Bailey Star shit, and you were just so pumped.
Dude, I was so pumped that I did that.
Who was it? I remember. I think one of the times in the cafeteria, we're like, do you remember that time or that day where the wrestlers were in the cafeteria during lunch?
Yeah.
And like they were
Who
sitting
was it?
kind of
Micah
at a
Lightning
table.
or whatever his name was?
It was like, yeah, it was Micah Taylor. I think it was Micah Taylor. Maybe it was Micah Lightning. I don't remember. It was him, Tank, maybe Ace Rockwell, because they were the Saudi Daisy guys.
Right.
So like obviously like have them there because they're closer.
Yep.
I remember I either went up to Tank or Ace, and this isn't me saying like for sure like which one it was, but like I said to him like, yeah, one day I'm gonna be a wrestler, and like I was like I was putting over like I go to these other independent shows or whatever, and they're like, yeah, whatever, kid. Like literally, that's all I remember being said to me, and I was just like, oh well, fucking. And like little did I know like later on that we'd be in locker rooms with guys like them all the time, which is insane. Not like them, but like. Which we have been in locker rooms with like Tank and Ace and them.
Right.
But it's crazy.
It's crazy to think about that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Because I remember I also talked shit to Tank. I told him I was going to like take his belt or whatever.
God.
And then like a few years later, we actually did like a segment where he came out and he whooped my ass. And that's all I could think about for some reason. I was like, dude, that's kind of cool.
It's one of those like come full circle stories, and like that's what makes these like things so cool. Like that's why I just like to reminisce on that stuff, because like I never want to forget that feeling I had as a fan, because like then whenever you get to work with that person, it's like, man, like I remember doing this with you,
Right.
Like, you may not remember, but I fucking do. So yeah. Anyways, like so like we're training in the backyard, and we end up going to like our first seminar together, which I wasn't supposed to go to the seminar. My original trainer wouldn't allow me to do that stuff, but I snuck and did it. So we went to Chatsworth.
Man, I
And
remember this.
we trained under Phil Shatter, who, in case you didn't know,
Be quiet about it.
Yeah, you got to be quiet about it. It was TNA Gunner, and it was Stephen Walters, who is now better known as Cash Wheeler, aka
Dash Wilder.
Yep, of the Revival, and which is crazy to think about. But we were the youngest people there.
I don't think we had even started, like, we hadn't even had a match
No.
at this point.
No, we literally didn't know anything. We knew how to bump. and
We
that
knew
was
how to
it.
bump. We knew how to run the ropes, kind of.
Yeah.
And then they were like, all right, well, let's do the universal spot. Right?
Yeah.
So, we didn't know what that was. I didn't know what that was. You might have. 'Cause
I-
you had some kind of formal training.
I kind of knew what it was. Like I had known the term, and at that point, I just because like I knew how to bump decently. Like I knew like shoulder tackle, whatever. So yeah, I was like really fresh to me too. And like what was crazy about it, other than that, was like they had taught us like a wrist lock, hammer lock.
Oh, yeah.
So like we felt like we were like king shit after that. And what was nice was like because they didn't have to, but they took so much time with us.
Oh, yeah, man. It was so cool.
Like and I hate to like not in a shitty way I say it's like they took more time with us than they did like probably anyone else there. And like to me that was like I never forget that dude. Like
Oh, no.
I still have the poster
Yeah, I was going to ask you.
of Gunner in my room that said strive to be the best. I still have that.
That's
in my
so
room.
cool.
Yeah, because that like means so much to me. But yeah, I don't know if I told you this, but Jay Sparks was telling me because he was at that seminar. He was telling me that apparently like a lot of those guys that were at that seminar like wanted to shoot on us.
That's so dumb.
Dude, yeah. I was like, but we didn't.
We were like 15,
Yeah.
16 at this time.
Oh, dude, like at that time,
Maybe younger.
At that time, you were 13 and I was 14.
Man.
But like, I think we lied about our age.
Oh, I'm sure we did.
Yeah. Because yeah, we did that, and then we watched the show, and like we were pretty much like trying to talk to Gunner and Dash, pretty much all night, like whenever we could.
Yep.
After the show, we got in the ring and like we kind of wrestled around with what we knew.
Man.
And like we had like some of the fans like watching us, and it was weird.
It was cool, though.
It was kind of like our first like in front of a crowd interaction, other than like the backyard show where we had maybe like what
10 people.
10, 15, something
Yeah.
like that. And that was like crazy to me. But yeah, so we fast forward. You've been wrestling for a little while. let's get into pretty much the birth of King Bailey Blake and how like that chapter of your career went, because beforehand you were kind of just you, like you didn't have like a gimmick, which there's nothing wrong with that. Like it's kind of like the Japanoise. Jeez, I can't talk. What'd you put in this coffee? It's like the Japanese young boy dojo boys, where like they would come out and like they wouldn't have like a character, they wouldn't have anything that was like, I don't want to say not special about them, but they would like the wrestling, the talking.
That's kind of how I look at it. It was like I came out to like pop punk music. I always came out wearing like a pop punk t-shirt. I had those like yoga pants that I bought from Walmart with like the flower print on them.
Yeah.
And I really just, like, there was nothing that really stood out about me. Yeah. I mean, I was like a local guy, so I had that. But I really didn't do anything. Because I remember I debuted, and I won the Pure Division Championship, like, right off the bat.
Yeah,
which was crazy.
Yeah, because you won it against Kronk.
Yep. And then the next week, I cut, like, a real terrible promo.
How you were going to be, like, a fighting champion?
Yeah, and then I think I went into something with Warren Sanders. But
yeah, you went into the small little program there. Because that would then set up for, which is crazy how this all falls into place, I think about it. You're probably going to hear me saying that's crazy because that's like such like a modern tick I have. So it's crazy, there it is. And, you know, you go into your angle with Warren. Mm-hmm. At that point, we're doing like little things together and...
yeah, we always like kind of built the friendship up between you and I.
It was always there, like on camera, on stage, as well as in the back, because I think that was like one of the realest things, you know, that was always displayed.
Because we just went out here and did like whatever we would do in the back to each other. I remember one time someone told us to cut a promo, and it was supposed to be like after you had lost or I had lost or something.
Yeah.
And you walked into the back, and, like, the first thing I said in the promo was, well, you lost again.
Yeah. It was like, I remember Chris was booking at the time, and he was so pissed.
Yeah, he hated it.
He was like, be friends. Be nice to each other. Like, this is what we do.
This is how we communicate with each other. Like, if you ran into us, like, just walking around somewhere, chances are we'd, like, talk shit to each other.
Yeah. It wasn't like we were like cutting promos on each other, which we've done plenty of times. Right. But like it was just us talking shit.
Right.
We just enjoy talking shit. But yeah, that was fun. But yeah, so like you do the deal with Warren. You have some really good matches before you became the king. We had this really cool triple threat. It was you, me, and Fred Yehi.
I remember that. Yeah.
You wrestled Izzy Six and had some fun stuff.
Wrestled Colby.
Yeah, you wrestled Colby Carino.
I think I wrestled him twice.
Yeah. And that was a lot of cool stuff that you got to do. But then we got into this deal where in TWE, I was going through a rough time. I had, as stupid as it sounds now, I got out of a really toxic relationship, and it was like toxic for someone that was, 16. Like they shouldn't have been in that shit. It's toxic for like 16, 17-year-old. And right. So like real life stuff was coming into it, and like I was like, I wanted to take a break from wrestling for at least a month. And at that time, you were also feuding with Roger and
Eric
Silva. I think Mike Williams kind of came later. But like you were feuding with like Roger's little stable of people that he had.
Lights, Camera, and Action was in it.
That's right. Yep. He was. Yeah. Was Dave Pillman? Pillman came later.
Pillman came, later. Yeah. Once I had already joined.
Not Brian Pillman Jr. David Pillman. He's an Athens, Tennessee guy. But because of some personal stuff and like around that time, like my dog got attacked, and it was like a pretty serious attack. Like I didn't know that. Like I didn't know if she was gonna live.
Right.
Like some personal stuff kind of came up, and I was very like upset. And like wasn't in the right mind state to wrestle. And I think one thing that really also did that was whenever I lost the pure hybrid Pure Division Championship too, because that was kind of like my breaking point, because I felt like I had lost everything. Mm-hmm. And I feel bad because looking back on it, like maybe it was selfish of me, maybe it wasn't. I had kind of left you in a situation to where like you had to fend for yourself, and forever it's always, I guess, felt like that, like big brother scenario with us. Even if it's not big brother, little brother, it's just a brother scenario. And I kind of left you to fend for yourself, which during that time, you were feeling probably pretty shitty. I mean, and I don't know really how you got connected with Roger. Like, how did that come about in my absence?
So I was running like this. We already talked about it. The really bland, like babyface, whatever type gimmick.
Yeah.
So one day, I think it was after a match, either with Eric or Mike. Roger came up to me and he was like, "Hey man," and I was like, "Hey, what's up?" Because when I first started wrestling, I don't know, I didn't really talk to people that much
You
like
were
I do now.
extremely quiet.
Yeah. So I was just like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And he was like, "I've got an idea that I wanted to run by you." And I was like, "Cool, what's up?" He goes, "What if you turned heel?" And I was like, "Oh shit, man." Because you know me, I've always like wanted to be a heel.
Yeah.
Backyard Bailey Star. I was just Austin Aries.
Yes.
So I get the opportunity, and I was like, yes, I'll do it. And so that's how that came about. Originally, I don't think I was gonna be the king.
Yeah.
Because Mike Williams was the king already.
What was because Mike was originally the king, and he was feuding with Chris at the time because they were doing they're building for 3 Years Strong the crown ladder match thing they did. On screen, how did we tell the story of you turning heel essentially? Like, I'm trying to remember because it was kind of like a shock. I remember that.
There wasn't really much build. There was I just kept getting attacked by like Eric Silva and Roger's group. So eventually it was kind of well, hell man, if I can't beat them, I might as well join these guys. I don't have my best friend, I don't have my brother here anymore to protect me, so I'll get this group of guys and they'll protect me.
It was kind of like if you can't beat them, join them type thing.
Exactly.
Which is weird then how it kind of propelled you into this very big amount of power instantly, because a week later after you had turned, you had you'd already made the turn. Mike had told us all in the back that he was planning on leaving. So,
we kind of had nothing to do. We were like, oh, man. And the king gimmick was already over.
Yeah.
I credit that for getting me over as the king. Mike had done an excellent job as the king. Mike Excellence.
Yeah.
That's cool. He did a great job as the king, and he already got that over. So when it came to me taking the crown, I mean, I just had to run with it at that point.
Yeah, because it was weird, whenever you were kind of in the situation where you had to become the king, you honestly, you never really, that I know of, were a huge fan of, say, a Jerry Lawler or, any of those, king-type gimmicks. Maybe, King Booker, but,
Right, yeah.
But, it was something that was kind of definitely out of your comfort zone, which I applaud you for really going into it full on. And that was awesome. Another big thing I think of that gimmick was honestly Roger, man.
Oh, Roger. Man, I could talk forever about Roger. He came up with idea after idea after idea after idea for me to do, and every single one of them worked. Whether it was the Royal Air tank that we had, because I didn't want to breathe the same air.
Yes.
The one time for a big entrance, we had somebody come down and spritz the ring with our special air spray or whatever.
Yes.
To clean the ring before I wrestled.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just the man when it comes down to it. The way he did my introduction, well, not my introduction, but my entrance, where we'd be in the corner and he would, rile up the fans while he takes the crown off my head, and just the way he did everything was so good.
Yeah.
He knew what he was doing, man.
And he's one of those guys that I think doesn't get the credit that he deserves in the local area, because one, his longevity.
Oh,
he's been doing this, I think, since 80, 89. Don't quote me on that, but around that time, he's just done it. And he's always been willing to go above and beyond for any storyline, anything that is going to bring a ticket in.
Yep.
Like, and that's something that, like, I used to watch him do in Ringgold, and I was so impressed with. That's why I'm so happy that he's now, like, a part of the product at TWE Chattanooga.
He's like a staple of TWE.
Dude, he's on the banner for a reason.
Yep.
He's a draw.
He is.
But yeah, man, just Roger gets it, and I think that's what made our feud even more better, was because you had him as the driving force, and God, it was good, man. Because as soon as you turned heel, and the crowd realized what happened, they started chanting for me, which was something that we didn't force. It didn't just happen. Like,
it had nothing to do with you. Like, I think I turned on Chris.
Yeah.
So, for me turn on Chris and not chant Chris's name, but instead chant Jay, he didn't. Jay didn't. You weren't even there, I don't think, were you?
It was at 3 years. I literally, like, I heard it, and I was like, I'm not going out there, because I think if we milked it long enough, people would then get more into it.
Which I think we did.
Yeah.
We didn't make contact. Let's see, I think the first time you hit me was the, oh man, what was it? Where you had to face everybody in one night from the Royal Hand, our little stable.
That's right, because it was
the gauntlet match.
If I beat you, I don't remember if it was if I beat you, we had the match, the Street Fight at Outbreak in 2016, or what it was. But yeah, we had the Royal Hand Gauntlet where I took on everybody. And dude, I was hurting like shit. That was a long time, probably one of the longest times I was in the ring. Two, like the electricity and the feeling that was in the building whenever that happened.
It was crazy,
dude. Like
I'll never forget it.
It was one of those moments where you just go, wow, like, this is fucking happening. Like, we're not in the backyard anymore.
Oh yeah, I think the whole thing was if you beat everybody in the stable, then you got to face me that night. So you ran the gauntlet, you beat everybody, you took a beating. So when it was my turn to, kind of come in and pick up the scraps, I kind of played around with you.
Yeah.
But you had that one big burst where you gave me a roaring elbow.
Yes.
Boom, knocked me. Man, I'll never forget that. That was one of my favorite moments, I think, for sure.
It was. And then after that, we ended up working towards, of course, the Outbreak
Street Fight
in 2016, which for the longest time was probably like one of our favorite matches.
Oh yeah.
That was where we really started realizing that we could hit the shit out of each other.
I remember the weeks before that match, we were just setting up stuff for it. Like, we made the tables, by hand.
Yeah. Like, we went to Home Depot, and I got this certain type of wood with bud. It wasn't like particle wood. It was some sort of other type of board. But we got them. We got table legs. We made the tables. We sprayed them down to try to make them look like, WWE tables.
Right.
Because and the way I found that out was I literally looked up a video on YouTube, and I found like some backyarders had like made a tutorial, and I said, well, fuck it, I'll do this.
Well, screw it, man. It worked.
It did. And so we had the match, and after that we had one more match, and it was at Revamp in 2017.
I just watched that match back
Did you?
The other day. It's on YouTube.
Yeah. I think it's under like the old backyard fucking YouTube channel.
It's like a TWE Productions FTW or something like that.
Adam,
and it's just the hard cam, so
Adam Chansey set that up too for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's why I have that name. I hated it, but oh well. I think it's funny. But yeah, we had that match. It was for the, I think, number one contendership.
Yep.
And that was the first time I had went up on you.
Yep.
Because you beat me in the street fight.
And then I beat you at the end of that gauntlet.
Yeah, and then after that, we had like, we went our separate ways. We did our own things. I think you went into a feud with Mike because Mike had came back.
Yeah, I think that was right before. Let's see, who was the champ at that time? Was it Jake was the champion at that time?
I think it was Chris.
Okay, that makes sense. I think.
Yeah. But so that happened, and I had went like into the championship stuff, and then you had went into your deal with Mike. Yeah, and then we somehow ended up facing off again. I don't remember why we faced off, but we faced off in July of that year. Because I remember it being in July for the simple fact of that was whenever I first started, like, realizing that Dylan Hells and Papa Hells and them were coming around more and, like, watching the shows.
Yeah, I remember that match. Man, why did that match happen? I can't remember.
Was it a number one contendership again? I don't think so.
I don't think it was.
It must have just been booked for, like, a match.
Just because.
Which makes no sense. Maybe it was... I think it was for a number one contendership. Maybe. Because I kind of remember the promo I did. Because I put together that promo, and... Because the name of the show is Severed Ties.
Yeah.
So
maybe it was just going back and...
Maybe, yeah.
Making, I don't know, like...
Something.
Yeah, I don't know.
But we got there, we had this match. I really liked the match.
Me too.
I've never seen the footage of it back again, which that's with most of TWE's past footage. But, which sucks, because there's some really good bangers.
Yeah, there's some stuff I'd really like to see.
Yeah, as opposed to, like, some of the stuff you see on YouTube, like Nightman versus Dayman.
Oh, man, I tried to find that match the other day, but I couldn't find it.
I
think he took it down.
No, dude, it's on there.
Is it?
Yeah, I'll link you it. It's fucking awesome. And by awesome, it's very bad.
Terrible.
So bad. It was like 3 minutes, and we got to the back and got yelled at by the booker at the time. And he was like, "What the fuck was that?" And we're like, "That was wrestling." They're like, "No, it wasn't."
It certainly was not.
Yeah. Fuck. So he was what was it, Dennis Nightman and Charlie Greenman.
Yep, that's it.
We were huge into Always Sunny in Philadelphia at the time, so we literally we got morph suits and made gimmicks off of the fucking shit.
I think they only did like pre-show type stuff.
Yeah, and it was only
when we
like
needed bodies.
People. Yeah, if we needed bodies, because around that time, those were the dark times at TWE.
The dark days.
Yeah, for real. And God, it was just ridiculous. Those are matches that should have never happened.
The annual post-show battle royal.
God,
that happened uncalled.
Yes.
Those were good times.
Those were fun.
And by good times, I mean terrible times.
Very bad. Never should have happened. But yeah, so after that, things happen. You leave TWE.
Yep.
During this time, you have been on the road a little bit more. So, like, you've wrestled for what's this show in Mississippi? You wrestled for
Pro Wrestling Ego.
Yeah, you wrestled at Pro Wrestling Ego. You did Wrestlers Lab, I believe, once.
Yep. I rode up there a bunch of times, and then I got on in like August or September of like 2018, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I did that once, and then it was, of course, Alabama.
Yeah. You had a good little run in Alabama.
Yeah, man, I like Alabama.
That was where, like, you would kind of,
I kind of came into my own there with doing, like, something that wasn't necessarily, like, a typical Kings gimmick.
Yeah, because at that point is where you started kind of, like, so it was put to me best by Carrie Awful. He had told me it was, like, first you paint by number until you eventually then get into, like, doing your abstract paintings.
Exactly.
And you start getting creative and things like that. So, like, as the regular King, you were just painting by number, and then eventually you just said, fuck it, give me a blank canvas, I want to try this, which is cool because you gave it a few test runs, which was super nice.
I gave it a test run in Atlanta one time for AWE, and that's some really cool stuff that I'll never forget either. Murder One kind of let me, like, just do whatever I wanted on a mic one time.
Talk about some of your stuff in Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, because I was there for a lot of that too, and it was extremely fun to watch you, like, do these things, whether it was you teaming with Sleaze, whether it was, you doing these, like, dark matches, but, like, still getting over, like, that was super fun.
So for AWE, it was mainly just I ride down with Chris, and this was before, like, I don't know, I actually tried to contact other people. I used to just let Chris do it for me or whatever, which is a bad thing to do. Don't ever let anybody do that for you, but unless you trust them. So I would just ride down there and hope they had something for me, and I got a lot of battle royals. But I also started, like, actually talking to, like, Murder One and Josh, and I got close to them where, like, I could talk to them about whatever. So
yeah, because Josh Wheeler fucking loved you.
Yeah, I mean, Ooh, man. I do remember one time I sent him some promos, and he said he liked them. So that was cool. And I think that kind of helped out a lot.
Yeah, because
for what I wanted to do.
Josh, for the most part, fucking hates everything.
Yeah, he does. So I pitched to Murder that I kind of wanted to start doing like a rapper style gimmick to where not like John Cena rapper, but like a SoundCloud rapper, to where I would always kind of like Heath Slater and the 3-man band would do, where I always built up this hot fire mixtape.
But you never released it.
Right, but I never released it.
But you had talked about actually doing one, yeah?
Yeah, I had
Like,
a few songs written.
Do you?
I do.
Do you ever plan on like recording those or anything?
Probably one day. I think it would still make sense
I think
for
it'd
what
be
I'm
fun.
doing now.
Oh,
I
dude,
think it would still be
100%.
hilarious.
Which I'm pumped to get into that.
Yeah.
Soon. But yeah, with AWE, like you would like tested a little bit with the SoundCloud rapper. You were the king of. Or are you still going by the king? Yeah.
Yeah, it was still the king.
But it was like a different spin.
Yep, just a
Okay.
different little spin on it. Man, I forget what I would say sometimes. I said just whatever came to my mind.
You said a lot of shit.
Yeah, a lot of stupid stuff. They gave me a girl, like a real pretty girl, to come out with me one time, and man, I think that did it. I think that gave me a lot of confidence. Actually, I don't think I ever told anybody about that, but coming out like that and getting a reaction of some sort, whether it was what I wanted, which I got a lot, or like just laughing, which is another thing. Like I guess I was kind of going for. It's a stupid gimmick,
Yeah.
so
At that point, you just want everyone to be entertained.
yeah, I just want to entertain somebody, and I think I did that.
And more or less, too, you entertained yourself. Because, like, you hear all the time people talk about how they're their own favorite wrestler. And a lot of people try to say that's, like, being big-headed, but it's not. Like, if you were to walk into a Walmart and you saw your action figure in the toy aisle, like, you know, like, would you buy it? Because, like, at that point, you're like, man, like, for instance, I love AJ Styles.
Yep.
I'm always, if I see an AJ Styles figure, even if I don't like necessarily collect figures now, like if I see an AJ Styles figure, like, I'm gonna stop and see it because I'm like, that's my favorite wrestler. I want to see if they got his head scan right. I want to see
Yep.
if like they got everything he wears correctly. Like everything that you had from the jacket to the chain to all of it, like to the phone, like it was extremely fun. It was and that was the thing, it was fun. Like I loved watching it. I saw the video where you came out with the girl. It was, I don't know if it was never they rebranded as Combat for that short amount of time yet.
I think that's mainly when I got to do my stuff.
Because it
Was
was,
when it was Combat.
well, because so many of the original AWB guys weren't there, and they were kind of like, it was nice because they were kind of like testing the waters with new people, and I think that was super cool because it gave you a shot, it gave you a chance,
And I appreciate it.
Yeah, but like you came out with that girl, you came out to Ric Flair drip, and at that point like we weren't really talking too much, but man, I saw that and I just thought, that motherfucker, that's my favorite fucking wrestler, like because like. What a fucking power move, dude. And, like, in that moment, like, I could tell you were feeling yourself and you were who you were. There was no, like, confusion about it.
Oh, I think that worked so well just because I got to go out there and throw a little bit of me
Yeah.
like into what I was doing. Because with the original King gimmick, it was just like, not to say like I didn't throw some of me in there. Like I'm a loud guy.
Yeah.
So I was just always loud with the original King. But then I got to like make stupid jokes with this King rapper gimmick. I got to just say outlandish, stupid stuff.
You just got to be you. 'Cause,
Exactly.
Like, I don't want to, like, you don't have a dry sense of humor. You have a really good sense of humor. And, like, you got to add in stuff that you thought was funny. And, like, whenever you start doing things that you think is funny and that you think's entertaining and probably is going to get over, it's probably going to get over. Especially, too, back then you were popping the boys. And that's another thing that gets frowned upon. I think that if you're popping the boys and you're popping the crowd, like, all in one, that's good.
Yep.
I think that because then at that point, your peers are entertained and they have faith in wanting to work with you. And then the crowd's seeing it and then they're thinking, like, and if they're digging it too, like, it's a good combination, man. And
I
like,
remember-
it's a confidence boost.
Like I would go out for the intermission, you know, and one of the fans would come up to me, and apparently he was a rapper, and he wanted to do like wanted me to feature on one of his songs or something. So I was like, oh yeah, man, we'll get it. It never happened, but I thought that was really cool.
That's still fucking dope. I would have fucking done it in a heartbeat. So, we ended up kind of clicking back up. I think Wrestling for God back in last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
We did a Wrestling for God show. And at that point we were, kind of like talking again, like
Right.
whatever. We ended up helping like take down the ring and like put it back at Dustin's storage unit.
What a time.
Yeah. And I think it was me, you, and Ackle went out to Steak
Yep.
and Shake. Because Ackle was still with TWE at the time. And we had kind of got to talking about, like, you may be coming back. Because you had told me you were interested.
Oh, yeah.
Because you really, at that point, like, I don't know if you were taking a break from wrestling, but, like, you weren't as active.
Yeah, I wasn't doing as much.
And I guess, like, it was one of those things where it was time to come back home.
Yep.
So we talked it out, and around that time, dude, I was doing a fuck ton. And it was weird because now the tables had turned since you had left. I had made the heel turn, oddly enough, on Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, oddly enough on Mike. I didn't become the king or anything, obviously. Like, because I was told, I wasn't told, but I was asked, would you want to be the king? I said, no, I don't want to do that because I want to do my own thing. And I didn't feel like I could have done it the justice that it would have deserved. Because I wanted to, especially with me being number one, whenever you're number one, you don't need a crown. People see you for who you are, blah, blah, blah,
Yep.
blah. You don't have to have any of this. You don't have to have it for status. So, I was doing my thing. I was just becoming sadistic, dude. I was a sadistic son of a bitch. And around that time, I was doing a lot. I was coming off, my run where I did the Young Lions Cup for Chikara. I did the Innovate Wrestling Smoky Mountain Cup. I had a really fucking good year, and I was super blessed for it, man. Like, those are moments I'm never going to forget. And in Roger's eyes, though, he saw it as, on screen, he saw it as this little cocky prick thinks he doesn't need me anymore.
Yep.
And he's losing his touch because now the fans are starting to, like, get behind him again, and they're what? He's not supposed to be the hometown hero. He's supposed to be the guy that was going to burn this city to the ground for damning him. And at that point, he had then had a little bit of confrontation with me. We never obviously put hands on each other, but he had told me that he had a surprise to bring out that vicious side of Jay Newman again because he thought I had lost it, which I never have. I can be a mean son of a bitch. So then Sink or Swim comes. I believe it was May 19th of 2019 last year. And at this point, like, we had finally gotten everything, like, set.
Oh, yeah.
That you were going to come back. We, like, Kyle put together your badass Tron you had. We had, like, practiced the entrance. We had done all the lights. And I was in the ring waiting. And I think Roger came out with me, but then, like, he came out to, like, the ramp and, like, waited for you.
Yep.
And then, like, the music hit, and, like, it had that slow build. Like, we didn't have it where it originally start with I Am the King. Like, it was, like, this, like, really cool, like, build-up. And then it, like, broke down right into the stuff.
Man.
And, like, I remember, like, looking around, and I had chills. And my wife was there, too. Like, and she had never actually seen us wrestle, but I had talked about it so much that, like, I looked at her, and, like, I, like, literally rubbed my arm, and I said, I have fucking chills right now. And she did, too. But, like, I looked around, and I see that the crowd is fucking standing because they were so happy you were back. And they knew what was going to happen, too. That was the coolest thing. Like, they were chanting, "This is awesome," before we even touched.
Before I even got in the ring.
Yes. And I was like, holy shit. Like, that's how you know, like, you've done something that matters to these people here. And, like, you've made a moment that they'll never forget. Because it had been, I don't want to say it had been 2 years. But
It'd been about 1.5 years for sure,
Yeah.
at least.
So, like, you had came back, we brawled to a no finish. And, like, Roger had to have security and everyone break us up. And, like, it was insane because it wasn't like we were teenagers anymore. Like, we're like, grown men now. So, like, we're fighting like grown men. So, we end up building up to a street fight, obviously, again.
Oh, man.
We had the street fight. It's 6 years strong. So from May to
August.
May to August,
Yeah.
we had this build, and it was intense, man. It was one of the most intense builds like I've probably been a part of.
It was a huge confidence boost. Like,
Was
not
it?
only the first match I had back with you, but just everything that happened in that build-up. Because coming back, I think I told you at the time, like, my confidence was really, really low. And,
Yeah.
like, what I could do and just
Well,
a lot of stuff was going on at the time, of course.
Yeah,
but
you were around people that like were kind of bringing you down in a sense.
Exactly.
And whenever you're in wrestling, you don't need to be around those kind of people because then that's what you become. You don't want to become a negative person. You want to always stay positive, and you want to always think of everything as a learning experience. And whenever you're not even getting a chance to have those learning experiences, like, it's never going to happen. So yeah, like, you came back and you had told me that like it was kind of a big confidence boost, and that was what was awesome, because then you end up getting these opponents like Kevin Koo. You get to wrestle
Man.
guys like Jason Kincaid. You know, you're wrestling like Zach Cooper, who just signed with MLW. Like, you're having all these badass matches, and this is even after the street fight.
Yep.
And man, like, it was just your run back here has been fucking amazing.
It has been, man.
Even if I hate the fuck out of you, like, I've enjoyed just getting to sit back and watch and go, this son of a bitch is talented, man, because I've always believed, and I'm not saying this because, like, you're my best friend, I'm saying this because it's the truth and because many others have said it, like, in my opinion, like, you are one of the best professional wrestlers to come out of the Southeast in a very long time, and I think it's just a matter of, like, you being seen by the right people, dude. Like, that's it.
Thank you,
Honestly.
man.
I mean,
That really means a lot.
yeah.
Especially, like, we talked about it earlier, just the shit that had happened within that year and a half time that I was gone. And then to come back. And I think I can honestly say that since I've come back, I haven't had one match where I was like, damn, that was bad. That was a terrible match. Like, sure, not every match is going to be, like, perfect, like, amazing. But,
Dude, nothing's ever going to be perfect.
but not one match where I've been like, well, that's it. I'm hanging them up, boy.
Fucking, it's done. It ends, son. God. But, yeah, and, like, that's what's been so cool is, like, that happened. And then now we're going to get into, like, our last match we had, which was the I Quit match at Outbreak of this year.
First, let's talk about this street fight we had.
Oh, fuck yeah. We are kind of missing over something anyway. Like, you just want to talk about the fucking tub again.
Let's talk about this goddamn tub.
Oh, my gosh.
Let's talk about how bad of an idea this tub was.
I mean, so, okay.
Let's talk about how this tub was the only idea that we didn't go over beforehand. And then
I mean,
it was the only one that fucked either of us up.
We've had some bad ideas in the past. I definitely think the tub was a happy accident.
I think it's a happy accident. I'm not saying
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hated it, because I think
Yeah.
it made a really, really dope moment.
Because I sat there, I thought you were fucking dead.
I thought I was dying too. I remember you hit the pile driver, and as soon as it hit, I was like, yep, that's going to bleed. And then Aaron was the referee for that match, Shiny Shoes. And he came up, and he had his gloves on, and I was like, why does he got gloves on? And he started, like, rubbing around on my head, and he goes, oh, no.
Quit touching me, you little squirmy bastard.
He said, are you okay? And I didn't say anything, and I think he threw up the X, like, as soon as I didn't say anything.
He threw up the X, and I said, what the fuck are you doing? And, like, I was so confused. He's like, he's busted open. I was like, should we take it home, brother? And you were like, they paid their money, get the damn tax. So I had to go get the fucking tax. And, like, we took it home shortly after, but I was like, fucking hey, dude, what a man.
Well, I'd never taken tax, and that was something I was looking forward to.
Oh, yeah, you were hyped about those tax.
Man, but I think that's, like, top 5 favorite matches I've ever had. Probably top 3 favorite
Definitely.
matches I've ever had. Just because of the moments that we made in it. Like, not only the pile driver spot, but there was, like, a ton of stuff that happened in that match. The tax spot, of course, where I think it's kind of cool because the move you hit me with into the tax was the move I won the TWE championship with.
Yes.
So I like connecting stuff like that.
And, like, what's really cool about it, too, is we had, like, a moment in that match where, like, you were bleeding in the corner. Like, and I don't know if it was just like emotion came over me, but you were like begging me off.
Mm-hmm.
And like I had that moment where like I literally I was about to cry. I was like, I'm sorry it has to be this way. I'm so sorry. Like, and I was just like, I had to like keep beating your ass.
And beat my ass, you did.
Yeah, stitched to the hospital, 10 stitches.
Staples, not stitches.
Oh yeah,
10 staples.
My bad. 10 staples. But I mean, for fuck's sake, like I went with you to the hospital.
That's true.
Like I made sure you were taken care of. And a lot of people were probably gonna get pissed because I'm breaking the fourth wall. Like I've been kind of like diving in, like in between, like
in and out
the realm of reality and stuff. But like I think these are like the stories that are interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it shows like how we do care about each other.
Yep.
And like it shows like the good side of professional wrestling too. But yeah, so then you know we have the callback in the I Quit match.
Oh yeah.
Where you then bust me open in turn with the tub. I go to pile drive, you move out of the way. I go to hit the ropes to get you. You give me the drop toe hold onto the tub, and I roll out and I'm busted open. And that I think was such a cool moment too. And man, Dylan, going back to putting him over, Dylan really did that moment so justice because like, he had like straight up said like, and once again, don't quote me on this. It was within the lines of like, and on that very tub that Bailey Blake was busted on, Jade Newman has been busted open as well.
Yep.
And then afterwards, whenever I had won, he had made the comment, just like the last time, the man that bleeds is the winner.
I thought that was really cool. That was one of my favorite lines of the whole night, of the whole match.
Yeah, dude. And like it was so fucking like, it gave me chills watching it back. And then like also like that sweet ass hype video going into
Oh
it.
yeah.
Which if you guys haven't watched Outbreak on IWTV, Independent Wrestling Television, you should definitely go check it out. You can find us underneath the promotions area on TWE Chattanooga, as well as a bunch of our other friends like Supgraps and Action, Primetime Pro Wrestling, Crux Wrestling, and many more, which you are also featured on Crux Wrestling.
Yep, and New South Pro Wrestling.
Yes, you can find New South on there as well, where you can see some of these things that we're talking about here. But, yeah, so from there we fast forward. We haven't really had another show here, but we have done some wrestling at other places, and you are now kind of in a transitional period to where you're no longer the king.
Nope.
No longer the king, Bailey Blake. You are instead the Tender Titan, a.k.a. the Hulk Hogan of Hammer and Hose.
The Babe Ruth of Bangin' Babes.
What are some of the other ones?
Let's see. Hulk Hogan of Hammer and Hose. The Babe Ruth of Bangin' Babes. The Lou Gehrig of Getting Laid.
Yeah.
Your mom's favorite wrestler. Your aunt's favorite wrestler. Your sister's favorite wrestler. And your future stepdad.
Yeah.
The king of sliding in your DMs.
That's it.
And the Tender Titan.
Oh. Okay. So, yeah, we're at 6.
I've got 6 so far.
That's not bad. Coming for David Starr.
Oh, I'm coming for him.
The cream pie in your coffee.
God. Writing it down right now.
So, yeah, so you're now transitioning into the Tender Titan. And the first time, like, I really had a chance to watch you do this character, we went to Southern Pride Championship Wrestling, or better known as SPCW, because we like to use acronyms. In La Follette, Tennessee, you wrestled a guy named AJ King.
Heck yeah.
And I remember watching the opening shine to that match. And man, because even though you were the heel, like, you were getting a huge reaction. For the simple fact of, like, the stuff with the phone, amazing. Loved it.
Man, I appreciate that because that was the first time, like, I had ever done the Tender Titan gimmick.
Yeah.
First time, like, I had the idea probably 2 months before I actually ever put it to use. So I had just been coming up with a ton of stuff, like all the nicknames. And I think it was either you or Jake Murphy who came up with the intro that we just said. The your mom's favorite wrestler, blah, 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 blah. I think Jake Murphy came up with that like 10 minutes before I had to go out.
He did. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you had I know you had your mom's favorite wrestler.
Yep.
But then like he added the other ones, and that was like extremely funny.
So now that's there. That sticks.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just do that everywhere now. I think the best time I ever used it was at New South. It was the first time I'd been at New South in a long time. First time since I've been doing the new gimmick. So,
Was it the We Love Pro Wrestling event?
no,
The one that I was at?
it was the one two
Previous?
before that.
Oh,
yeah.
2 before?
I wrestled Adam Priest.
Yeah. You
Yep.
wrestled him in was it the theater?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And so obviously they were like, go out there and be a heel because Adam Priest is mega over in Alabama.
Yeah.
He's the man in Alabama.
Jamie Noble and Chris Benoit bunched into one.
He's the man.
He is the man. Strong style of country, man.
So I had to go out there and cut a promo. I said something like, I don't want to be here right now. I'd rather be on Tinder. How about everyone in the crowd get their phones out so I can start swiping on Tinder? And then I'd like wait a minute and be like, on second thought, nobody here is attractive enough. Just something real stupid like that. And it worked. They booed the shit out of me after that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that match was a good one. That was on the same card as Kurt Stallion and Daniel Makabe.
Yeah, it was.
That match was so good.
God damn.
And then they also picked up fucking that cock Manders. One called Manders versus Brett.
Yep.
That one was good because that opened the show.
Yeah, it did.
It was good.
I think we had to follow that.
Yeah, y'all were second.
Yeah.
That was the first. After that was maybe the tag match.
Yep, it was the Wasted Generation and all them.
Yeah.
Nolan Edwards was in that match.
He was.
Yep.
Oddly enough, he was because I don't remember what team he was on, but I know Wasted Gen tagged with Taylor Ray.
Yeah, and then I don't remember who the other
I don't
team was.
remember who else. I remember things I shouldn't remember, so that's why I'm like sitting there in my head. I'm like, yeah, I can remember that card. But yeah, that was a really good match. That was honestly one of the matches that made me want to talk to TWE and be like, hey, you should bring this guy to Chattanooga more. And I think that match too was what got Adam Priest more involved with the Scenic City events as well.
Dylan was on commentary for it.
Yeah, Dylan
so-
was on commentary, and then honestly, like I think that's what helped because Adam was kind of getting his foot in with SUP
Yep.
as well, and I think that's what kind of made him one of the regulars, or kind of forged his way into becoming a regular.
He definitely deserves to be there.
He does, dude. He deserves to be everywhere.
He's the man. He works his ass off.
He does, and I forgot. Like I didn't forget. I was blown away by how young he is. Like whenever I found out that he was close to our age.
Yeah, he looks like a grown man.
Well,
Like
he
a
is-
grown-ass man.
He is a grown ass man. Like my favorite thing was we wrestled each other at the We Love Pro Wrestling event that they had.
Yep.
And afterwards, dude, he got a cooler of just beers. He had it wasn't like Coors Light, it was like the Busch.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, time to drink."
Dude, he's the man.
He's like, "You want one, buddy?" I was like, "No, man, I don't drink. I'm straight edge." He goes, "Well, fuck." He just started hammering it down, dude. I was like, "What a man."
That was the show Perez got drunk too.
Oh,
drunk
dude.
at too, right?
Perez was gone. That was also the time that Tyler Matrix and Jonathan Wolf told us that really funny story
Oh man,
about the Fear
yeah,
Heisman.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna talk about that story because I think I would much rather them tell it
Oh yeah.
than me because it's done way better. If they do want to talk about it, it's insane.
It's the funniest thing you've ever heard.
Oh,
in your
dude,
life.
I was in tears. That
That's
was
where
probably
SmackDown was born.
Yeah,
too.
dude, the SmackDown. Tyler Franks. Oh gosh, did I tell you what he did to me at SUP?
No.
So I went to shake his hand at the last SUP event, and I was like, "Hey man, how are you?" It was kind of before everything started blowing up with
Right.
the virus, and I was like, "Hey man, how are you?" He goes, "No." And I just go, "What?" He goes, "We don't shake hands." And I was so confused, dude. And he like literally, as I'm walking off, he pulls my arm and he pulls me into a headlock. And he just goes, "SmackDown, SmackDown." So that's all the SmackDown is. It's a loose headlock, and he just like torques his body and makes you twist. It's extremely funny. I love the SmackDown.
I love Tyler Franks. He's
Tyler
the
Franks
man.
is the man. All beef. All beef.
All beef.
So I'm trying to think. Is there like anything else that like you want to talk about? You want to plug?
I got my social media.
Oh, really quick before we get into that. So you're the Tinder Titan.
I am.
All right. So you've had a little bit of experience on Tinder.
Okay.
Can you share with me some like horror stories from Tinder?
All right.
You're gonna pull.
Let's pull up some of these matches. Oh man, there's one good one. If I didn't delete it, because it hurt my self-esteem.
Hurt your self-esteem?
Where is it?
Oh my gosh. So he's scrolling right now for those that are listening. Oh gosh.
Where'd it go?
I've told you that that's how I met my wife, right?
Yeah, that's why I believe in Tinder so much now.
Oh, dude.
That's what started it.
I put over Tinder like $1 million.
Oh, here's one.
Okay. Let's hear it.
For some reason, on June 30th of 2018, I matched with a female named Savannah. I messaged her and I said, I once kissed a dog. There wasn't a song about it. And she said, well, that's a shame.
That was it?
Yep, that's it.
God bless. What else?
Let's see.
Are these like just like some of like the horror stories of pickup lines you've thrown out?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. This is ridiculous.
Here we go. This chick's name is Bunny.
But
Her bio said she's into spooky shit.
oh yeah.
So I said, what kind of spooky shit are you into? Because there's nothing more spooky than my fucking bank account. She didn't reply.
Oh. That's spooky. She's a ghost now.
She's a ghost now.
What was that? So I remember one time that it was before, obviously, I was with my wife. I had Tinder still.
Mm-hmm.
Ackle had Tinder. You had Tinder.
Oh, I know what you're about to bring up right now.
And we all switched phones because we
man.
saw the Eric Andre thing. And, like, I don't remember. I think you had Ackles had mine, or vice versa. And I remember Ackle typing to someone something about the poo-poo platter.
Oh, yeah, that was on here. I think I deleted it. But
Oh, gosh.
he said to someone, if you were a Chinese restaurant, I'd order the poo-poo platter. And it worked because she texted back.
It was ridiculous. Oh, gosh. It
And
was
then
so
I think
funny.
on yours, I texted someone, hey, girl, you ever made love to a jar of peanut butter?
That was it. Oh, gosh. It was so ridiculous.
That's some of my favorite stuff to do. I haven't done that in a while.
Yeah. So I don't know if Nick's done it yet, but I remember whenever I was at WrestleCade with Nick this past November, we were hanging out in our hotel room and my sister was there. And it was before my sister got into the good relationship she's in now.
Mm-hmm.
She had still had Tinder. And Nick said that he wanted to do a Tinder swap where he took over her Tinder and recorded it and like sent like the worst pickup lines ever to people.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And what's weird is that was also around the time, like, dude, like, it was so bad, some of the stuff he wanted to say. Guy, it was so funny, though. Like, it's obviously, like, nothing to get anyone canceled, but it was funny.
Man.
He also, I don't know if you've had a chance to read his book yet, but he got that sweet book out now,
No,
finally.
I haven't read it
Yeah,
yet.
dude, he pitched me the idea for it in November, and I was like, man, that's so good. And then, like, he got it done. So, like, man, he's a doer. He does it.
Yeah, Nick wants to do something. He does it. I credit a lot of the Tinder Titan gimmick to him because he helped me so much.
Yeah.
Thursday is here at TWE, man.
Between, like, I'm telling you, like, the best thing that's happened to, like, the Southeastern wrestling scene for people that actually listen and want to get better is Kerry and Nick.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's it. Like, I'll credit Kerry and Nick all day, and I can't honestly wait to have them on the show.
Oh.
I think that's going to be fun. I know Kerry drinks his coffee black like me, so we're just going to have two dark souls on the show.
Oh, God.
And then Nick's going to be vibrant as fuck, like he always is.
Man.
So, I got one last question before we do these plugs.
What's up?
I heard that you are the undisputed champion of the Master Lock Challenge. Like, if I were to put you in a Master Lock, you can get out.
100%.
100%?
I can get out of it.
All right, so what I want to do right now is
Oh, fuck.
I want to put you in a Master Lock, and test this theory.
Okay. So
I'm just gonna. Yeah.
you want me to stand up, or you want to
no,
you
you're
want to
good
drag
right
me
there.
out of the chair
No,
like he does?
I'm gonna try this. We're gonna. Yay! Almost got him. Ah! Oh! 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 Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's confirmed. Bailey Blake is still the undisputed champion of breaking the Master Lock Challenge.
Watching that Bobby Lashley.
He's been watching Bobby Lashley for years. Have you seen the video of him getting his ass hammered by the chiropractor?
No.
Dude, there's like this 22-minute video of him getting his ass just hammered by this chiropractor.
It sounds so terrible.
You just hear,
God.
and he's like, ugh.
I saw him try to flip a tire.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on over there anymore.
I don't know, man. All right, so let's get into these plugs. All right, what's your social media?
Twitter is Bailey Blake _21. I post on there not very often. I should probably change that.
Yeah.
Instagram is the same thing. Bailey Blake _21. Facebook, please don't add me on that.
Don't add him on Facebook.
Well,
I'm trying to think. What's your Tinder? Just Bailey Blake.
oh yeah, Bailey Blake. Swipe right if you
you're
see it.
Yeah, if you're lucky enough to swipe right on Bailey Blake. Do you have any merch? Anything?
I am working on that as we speak. So
Nice.
maybe by the time this goes up.
Cool. So hopefully by the time this goes up,
can add in a
Bailey will have
screen.
that sweet Pro Wrestling Tees or T Public store set up. With that being said, Bailey, thanks for being on.
Thank you, man.
I've been talking to you about this for quite some time.
For a few years now. So.
Yeah, this isn't like one of those like projects where I was like, oh man, I'm bored during quarantine, I'm gonna do this. No, I've wanted to do this podcast for quite some time. Necessarily not the coffee, but that came later. But I've wanted to do a podcast for quite some time. So I'm glad I got to have you on as my first guest.
Thanks, man. It means a lot.
Absolutely.
It was fun.
And with that being said, I have one last question.
What's up?
How do you take your wrestling?
Comedy style.
Comedy style?
Comedy style.
All right.
I love it.
That does it. Bailey Blake takes his wrestling with a little bit of comedy style. With that being said, I am El Numero Uno, Ichiban #1, independent wrestling superstar Jaden Newman, signing off, signing out, and closing the shop for the day.